You either have sustainable management or you have unsustainable management, right? It gets to a point where if you, say, taking more of a population out than is needed to be left behind to regenerate the population, well, they've got to go downhill to zero.
Yeah.
So there is a point where it's just sustainable and then a little bit more and it's unsustainable. And anything that side of the line, it is going towards eradication. So I say to people, are you for sustainable management or are you for unsustainable management? If you're for sustainable management, you say, right, how do we do this so that population will be there forever? The attitude we're seeing is people saying we want them controlled. We want to reduce their populations to the lowest possible level.
Yeah.
Well, that means they want unsustainable management. They want, if possible, if it is possible in some way to eradicate a species, that is the desired outcome. So for hunters to be accepting that is either very hypocritical or they are being literally, they're being deceitful.
Well, it's very short-sighted at the very least.
Very short-sighted at the least.
So, can I ask you then, mate? Sorry,
Yeah,
buddy,
no, it's good.
Like, can I ask you, like, with the feral thing? I mean, look, being a punter, looking from the outside, looking in, I look at deer, and we eat venison. The whole family does, and they love it, right? Beautiful meat, you know, one of the healthiest meat you can have.
I tried it myself once.
Kangaroos.
Yep.
Same again.
Yep.
Lean, good meat for the families and that. And we've got, you know, untapped supplies of these two.
Yeah, but what's the biggest pest animal for landowners in Australia?
Have to be kangaroos.
Kangaroos, wallabies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're a native species.
Yes.
Do we want them wiped out?
Well, they're on the coat of arms of Australia.
The last thing I'd ever want to
Yeah.
see is
Yeah.
any species of kangaroo gone.
Yeah.
Right?
So I look at it and go, deer and kangaroo, great alternatives
Yeah.
for sustainable food
Yeah.
for the Australian public
Yeah.
to offset beef. So I think I'm rolling into a question. Obviously, you know, there's some landowners out there, cattle farmers and stuff like that. I have cattle farmers in my family. They don't want, you know, tens of thousands of deer, you know, costing them money, fences, you know, eating their crops and all that sort of stuff. So there needs to be some management. We've touched on the sustainable part of it. It needs to be done correctly, but I don't know if I would class deer as a feral animal. When you look at how they're a beautiful, majestic animal. They are
To some people.
To some people.
Yeah.
I would think nearly everyone. Besides like when
I've met a lot of people that treat them like the devil themselves.
Okay.
Like, that hate them.
Would
right?
would they mainly be maybe, you know, not trying to lump all cattle farmers into the same mix, but would they mainly be property owners who are having trouble with them because there's too many of them on their property?
A lot of times they are. That's how I got started. Like, I was literally 16-year-old, and one morning we looked out the window from home there, and Dad said, what's that dark patch up on the crop on the far end of the property? And we looked, and there was 162 deer in one mob coming on our sorghum crop and literally destroying it.
Yeah.
Just wrecking it. So my dad, one of the keenest hunters you ever see, hunted all his life, professionally and recreationally. And he said, well, we've got to make a decision. Either we utilise them or we get rid of them, because we couldn't stand the damage they were causing. Right, so we looked at it and we tried to find a sustainable solution on it. A lot of people will simply see the damage that they're doing, right? So I've seen people that hate them because they are an introduced animal, and they hate all introduced animals.
Because the reason I was asking you that is because when I talk to my family, my current family, they all love deer, as in they love the animal.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of people who live in the cities and stuff like that, who don't sort of have a lot of idea of what's going out in the bush, would look at deer as like, wow, deer, you know, they're a fantastic animal, just like they would with kangaroos and wallabies and that sort of stuff. Even rabbits.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's when you actually start tapping into, you know, people who live in the bush, you know, property owners, that sort of stuff. I think the people who are on the front line and are seeing, say, the damage that they can cause if they're not controlled properly. And that's only, you know, that's, you know, of course, it's sort of like I would understand that myself if I was a property owner.
Yeah.
But I also see the other side with a lot of property owners who have gone the other way, and they allow hunting on their property, sometimes for a small fee, which is I think is fine. You know, like if that's your property and your land, you should be able to, you know, charge a fee for people being on your land and using it, whether it's for, you know, forward driving or hunting or whatever. But then they use hunters in a really good manner of keeping the numbers down.
Yeah.
And also making a little bit of a turnover on the side.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah. Somebody's got to pay the bills. If you are doing something and you want somebody else to pick up the tab for you, you know, that's wrong. That's wrong. You pay your own way.
Yeah.
Okay. So if a landowner is suffering damage or loss from any species of animal that's on their property that they don't want, well, they should have every right to remove that animal, right?
Yeah.
So to me, or they need to make $1 out of it.
Yeah.
That's just basic principles of business and
totally
of being a decent person, I believe.
Yeah.
You don't get someone else to pay your tab.
Yeah.
Okay? So they say, right, okay, then state forest. The big issue has been the state forest hunting, right? Let's try and get in there for state forest hunting. Do they mean hunting or they mean eradication? If you mean hunting, it means that you need officers, a bit like the Game Licensing Unit, which are doing, I think, a great job in New South Wales, but that costs a lot of money.
Yep.
Okay, I see the stats that came out in 2017. I think that at that stage they were representing about 10% of the licensed hunters that had recreational hunting on their licences in New South Wales.
Yep.
Right? They weren't. I haven't got the figures in front of me, but it is a costly exercise.
Yep.
We get back to the referendum side of it, where we'd have to ask every person, are you in favour of spending X amount of millions of dollars to set up a recreational hunting program in state forests?
Yep.
Because everybody's got to have a say in it, right? So I think the answer would be no. I think we'd get a thrashing on that if that's the way it went. What we're suggesting with our system is we're saying go through the landowners. Go through the landowners on the private country for a start, and then there's a lot of landowners that have state forest cattle grazing permits or leases.
Yep.
Why can't we utilise that system to go from a landowner's property and also include the stuff that they're running the cattle on? So we can go in there,
And then at least the landowners know who's on their property.
knows who's on there, they can set the rules, and they can say, you know, when you can go on, when you can't, and work in a absolutely open
So
manner.
you're going to hopefully then cut out the majority of, you know, mum and dad with the family having a picnic on a state forest and someone coming through and hunting deer or pig and having some sort of incident happen.
On some state forest areas. There's a lot of different leases and a lot of different state forest areas, and some would be far easier to manage than others. But when we look at it, again, let's say that we're looking at it from a point of view of the government to say, okay, how do we manage these animals? They have gone to a big, they've got a huge amount of trouble to class these animals as pests, okay, under the Biosecurity Act.
I find that hard to fathom, by the way, just looking at the animal itself.
Exactly.
And the meat that can come off it, just the venison that can come off it, and what that brings to a community. So,
but you have a Labor government, a left-wing government, in charge in this country for I think 25 of the last 30 odd years.
yeah, in Queensland.
In Queensland.
Yeah.
What else are you going to expect?
So what I look at that then, and I go, well, then the Labor government, right? And don't want to get too political, but I look at that.
Will.
Yeah, no, but yeah, that's cool, mate. But like trying to you know have an open view here, I look at it and say, well, that then indicates to me that the Labor government does not care about regional communities in Queensland. They don't care about regional farmers. They don't care about the small shop owners and that sort of stuff. And the reason I say that is when people go hunting, forward driving, whatever. When they go driving, right? When I come out here to come and go hunting for a weekend, I fill up my fuel at Kilcoy service station. I go in, I grab a pie and a drink. I might grab a few extra bits and pieces that I need. We come out and we hunt. On the way home, I clean my vehicle off in there. I grab some more fuel, and then I'm on my way home. Now, all of that combined over years and years and years. It keeps small towns, small communities alive, right?
It's huge. It is huge.
So if the government is just prepared to go, well, we're just going to eradicate all these animals. We're going to eradicate pigs, deer, whatever it is. And then that takes out the recreational hunter, and the recreational hunting is finished. You know, there's talk about, oh, well, they'll just start doing something else. I don't think so. Like, they might do something else, but it might be just golf at their local golf club, privately owned. Doesn't mean they're going to be coming out into the regional communities.
I think if you put a referendum to all the people in the country and said, tick which activities that you would like to see in state forest areas, right? And we went on that. I think that all the ticks for fossicking, for bird watching, for four-wheel driving, for horse riding, all those boxes are going to be ticked. The one that people will have trouble with is the hunting, because we are going in there, whether we like it or not, we're going in there to kill an animal, right, with a firearm or a bow, okay? So, and a lot of people are dodgy on that, where they'll put up with a bushwalker running face-to-face with a bushwalker or a photographer in the state forest, but they won't like the sound of a 300 Win Mag going off 100 metres away from them if they don't know that person's there.
So that's a good point.
So people will still go and do other activities. That's what I've been told. Now, I don't agree with it, and don't think I'm being an advocate to say keep the hunters out.
That's a good point about state forest stuff.
Yep.
So then if you ask the same people in regional communities, you had a tick in the box there about state forest hunting, and then you had another question that said hunting on privately owned land with permission. I think the regional communities would back that.
Back it 100%.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think back it. Well, not 100%, but there'd be far more support for it, I believe, there. I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just how we would have to sell that, how we would put that across. The image there is that there's too many people that be gung-ho, okay, with firearms. Okay, from what I've seen, and I've been in this game a long, long time, okay, I was in 3 days old. I was back in a buffalo camp in... out of Darwin Hospital and taken back to the buffalo camp at 3 days old. I was hunting in my dad's backpack, sitting in his backpack while he's out hunting at 2 years old. Right? So that's been my life right through, from buffaloes and then in New Zealand, red deer over here, right around. I've been running guided hunts for 35 years. Okay, and taking people out on the Ridge Ballot 25 years. We've been trying to get the lowest cost, most open system with our Glenfiddich system for venison hunters, as you know, to give people the cheapest opportunity we can on private country to go and fill their freezers. So I believe I can talk from a little bit of authority on there. That, how do I say, it's going to be a hard sell to get the message across to the general public that we should be able to go in to state forest areas without a really tight system.
And here's the biggest thing that I look at.
Going to cost.
Looking at that as well. You know, we're just throwing this out there, but like 90% of people do the right thing, 10% don't. So the referendum for state forest hunting, it's all about trying to get the 90% of people who are doing the right thing in there, because at the moment, the 10% of people who are doing the wrong thing are doing it anyway.
They're doing it anyway. Exactly. I said the other night, one of the guys that's been having snipes at everybody on social media, I said, name me one area of state forest in Queensland that's got good game numbers on it that isn't already being hunted, albeit by poachers, by illegal hunters. Name me one. Put it up on social media, and I'll guarantee within a week, if you say, you know, this block over here, Block X, has got great red stags running on it and nobody hunts it, I'll guarantee within a week there'll be people poaching it. That is the offences for illegal trespass have been a joke. Right? A joke. Landowners are getting just victimised. They're getting terrorised in a lot of places by these people, and they have for decades now. My whole life I have seen it. Landowners that simply get to the point where they say, no, we are sick and tired of these guys threatening members of their family, burning them out, doing things. And it's like, again, it makes me sound like I'm bagging hunters in general. I'm not. It is that small minority that are literally the lowlives. But we, as associations, as groups, have struggled to kick them out ourselves.
It's the same situation you had with mud crabs in Queensland and people taking jennies or undersized crabs. You know, like you've got to do the right thing. If your pot has the right size and they're the right, then you can take them. Good to go. But if they're not, you've got to put them back.
It's crazy that I've seen it myself. I've been out with a professional fisherman. You know, there's like that, and a number of professional fishermen. That if you've got a buck crab in a net, right, you'll be really careful to get him out that he doesn't throw his nippers and whatever. And you take him out, right. You're not allowed to take the jennies. The quickest way to get a jenny out of a net is 2 house bricks. Just smash them up, shake them in the water. They're gone. Yep. Right. Total waste of the resource.
Absolutely.
Total waste. But do you want then that fisherman that's got to then take a fair bit of time to take every jenny out carefully out of the net and then put it back for free?
Yeah.
Right, for nothing? Right? Because literally the truth of the matter is they won't.
Yep.
They will use 2 house bricks. Smash, shake, and that's it, gone. Right? So you're not, by not allowing them to take them in some areas, they're not saving the population.
Yep, totally.
It's crazy. And this is what we're seeing with a lot of these people saying, get us into state forest country and we'll control these filthy feral pests. They've got rocks in their heads. As a professional hunter, my whole life, and a recreational hunter as well, if I was told that I need to control the animals, get in there and get rid of these animals in state forest areas, right? If I had to get rid of them, if I had to manage them sustainably, the first method I would use would be recreational hunters. Mm-hmm. To manage them on a sustainable basis. The best method I would use would be recreational hunters, you know, under a really well thought out sustainable system. If I wanted to just get rid of them, the last thing I would use would be recreational hunters.
Yeah, professional shooters, helicopters, baits.
The first thing would be literally ground traps, that sort of stuff, where you bring them in, slaughter them, aerial shooting, thermal, night vision, right, baits, all of that first. I'd use the LPA system as has been designed by the Biosecurity to put pressure on landowners that were next door to get rid of their animals, and then you'd wipe them out. It's like pulling a plug out of a bath. Okay, a lot of hunters don't realise this.
But then we've got nothing left.
We've got nothing left. That's it, and you can give up your guns.
Yeah, see, that's
okay. But this is, I believe, is the long-term view of a lot of the people that are the anti-gunners. They're very real left-wing people that do not want us to have firearms.
If you get rid of hunting, you get rid of the majority of people reasons to shoot.
Go to the range, use your gun on the range, and that's it. Okay, landowners could have them if they have anything left. So, to me, it's a really short-term view that we've got here. That if, and this really gets us, again, I get back to the point there and say on MP Tony Perrott over here, that these people having a go at this guy, I see him as the best chance that Queenslanders, hunters and outdoor people have ever had of getting a sensible system in place. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, right? If Liberal National got in the government in the next month, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy road. He can't just go and tick it off. He has got to convince the people in his own party that he's got a system that can work. And that's what we've been trying to do, is come up with a system for 30 years, crunch the numbers and show that it can be done. Because without someone like that, we've got no hope. We've got no hope. Right? If we're going to go in there to eradicate these animals, if that's the aim that people want, right? Well, then what we're going to find is the plug's going to be pulled out of the bath. Recreational hunting on private country will be diminished, and state forest will see slaughter. I think they're going down a road that they can't recover from. And just to probably add on to that, because this gets me fired up, and what I've seen recently, I am fired up about it, is people like Tony and myself have put a huge amount of effort into a sustainable solution for the future. And there's a lot of other good people in this state that are doing the same thing. A lot of good people. And we can get attacked by some of these people on social media for their own political gains, own political motives, that if we then, the people that are for sustainable management, simply said, that's it, we're out of here, we forget it, we're going to join the other side, and we'll work just as hard now to get rid of all the pigs and deer and goats and whatever else off private country. Let's just say, forget it, you can have your state forest. Have your state forest, go for it, do whatever you want.
Nothing on private land.
And nothing, right? But if your animals on state forest area come in and wreck our crop, you've got to pay for them. If you want them, if you want the right to hunt on those state forest areas, then you must take the responsibility as well.
And once they're all gone on state forest land, there's nowhere else to go.
Nowhere else to go. These people are selling us down the drain at the moment.
So, mate, just say someone comes across this video that is not a hunter, has never hunted. Give me an answer in a couple of minutes. Try and tell them why deer shouldn't be a feral animal and why they should be sustained, why they should be managed sustainably.
You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to come back and we'll cut a whole heap of these ones because literally there's so much to it, okay? So much to it.
So say like my family, mate, right? So my family, you know, I went away, served overseas and that sort of stuff, so they've been around firearms a fair while themselves, 3 kids and my wife. But when I decided to start hunting this year, hunting deer particularly this year, especially my little girl and one of my sons was like, oh, you know, you're going after Bambi. And I basically said, I sat down with them and said, listen, you know, when you grab ham out of the fridge or you have a steak, burger and that sort of stuff, that food doesn't come from Coles. Yeah. It comes from an animal.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
So we had that chat and they've come around.
Yeah.
But they're living with a father that, you know, appreciates the animal for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I look at hunting as not killing. I don't go out and kill an animal. I go out and hunt an animal and then we use it and our family loves it, right? So if someone who's never hunted before comes across this video and sees us having a chat about this, what would you say to that person or that person's family who may be sitting in a townhouse in Brisbane or Sydney or Melbourne? What would you say to them, like very briefly, how would you give them the rundown on, you know, deer as a sustainable resource for everyone in this country?
While there is wild deer in the bush that we can hunt as a game animal, we're free.
Yep.
We're a free person.
Yep.
Right? In this state, with everything classed as pests, all we can be is like recreational pest controllers.
Yeah.
Right? So if they're all gone, there's no reason to go out in the bush. You know, to me, the deer have many, many values, right? There's a spiritual one. You get out there and literally to go hunting a deer in the morning, you know, it is good for the soul.
Oh, it's beautiful out
right?
in the bush.
It is educational.
Yep.
Right, you get out there, you're learning something all the time. You can take young people out there and you see their eyes just fill with wonder when they see the different things all the time. There's nutritional.
Yeah.
Right?
Venison's one of the best lean meats you can have.
Fantastic lean meat. It's a good addition. I don't see it ever, and I never see it want to see it replacing beef. That's not the aim. No. It's a good supplement to the diet, same as fish or pork or chicken or whatever. Right? It is there. So nutritional, spiritual, educational,
velvet,
right? So that is a medicinal.
Yep.
Area, right? So a lot of people might not realise the benefits of like deer velvet.
Yep.
Taking definitely people from Asia do.
Yep.
We could talk a whole clip on that, and we probably should. We probably should sit down and talk about deer velvet antler and how it's processed and whatever. That was my game for many years. Okay. But it's all those different values that you've got of wild deer, but you've also got economic value. Right?
Correct.
So all of this...
We touched on that before with regional communities and people paying for trophy hunting coming from overseas.
Yeah, well, some of these people, I've seen them take snipes recently about anybody trophy hunting. They haven't got the money to pay for trophy hunting. Gee whiz, and the government or people would never accept trophy hunting. Trophy hunting is just one section. Yeah. And that cherry picking here is just one section. To me, all those different values are part of wild deer. To get out, like I said, just to get out there. That's why I said spiritual for a start. Yep. Okay, meaning your general well-being of your spirit. Yep. Okay, you've served overseas, so like I see so many return vets that do come up here, and literally they just want to get out in the bush and just
be.
Just be in the bush,
absolutely.
get their life back. Whatever. What value could you put on that?
Yeah.
It is priceless.
And I look at that, just touching on the trophy thing. You can say, well, it's too expensive for me to go and hunt a trophy or whatever. Well, that in life in general is for everything. Like it's too expensive for me to own a Ferrari. That doesn't mean I deserve one, and I should be able to have one just because that guy has one.
But that's why we've put in place. Well, we've strived for 25 years to put in place what we call the Ridge, Australian Wild Country Ridge Red Deer Ballot.
Yep.
We've tried to make it as cheap as we possibly can for the everyday person to get out and trophy hunt if they want.
Yep.
The Glenfiddich system, the aim of the whole system was to try and find a method that's replicatable, right, so that it can be done, used on many properties right across Australia, where the landowners can allow the everyday person to come in and harvest excess deer, overabundant, and that's a great term that's used by ADA. They've been fantastic with that. You don't see them pushing the pest barrow. They talk
overabundant. That's
overabundant,
great.
right? And they're realising if you've got too many deer, well,
that's a great thing
more.
from ADA, isn't it? That's great.
They're fantastic. They are leading the way down south, and I couldn't talk highly enough of that sort of angle that they're going with that. They're leading the way. So when animals are overabundant, why not harvest more of them? Right? And I've had people really have a go at us. Oh, you can't say harvest. Right, okay. We've seen it as a crop, as a sustainable crop.
Well, it is, isn't it?
That's what it is. Right? And so that all those values come in if we are sensible. Right? So you get out in the bush, take your kids out, you can take some venison, fantastic meat as a supplement in your diet. The health benefits from being out there, getting that exercise is huge. They're all positive things. People will walk to the top of the highest mountain. Right, you see some of the places we've gone, around the world chasing deer or other game like the tahr in New Zealand. You'll go to extreme lengths to get a trophy animal where you might not go as far to get just one for meat. Okay, so there's a great thing there.
Yeah, so you look at that, and by just what we've just chatted about then, I think the benefits outweigh the negatives, right? So the positive outcomes of sustainable deer hunting, especially in southeast Queensland, because that's what we're talking about, definitely outweigh the negatives. The negatives just come down to individuals not doing the right thing.
One of the negatives.
One of the negatives. I would say that was probably the main negative. Please.
No, there's more, right? So when we look at it for, as much as I've been one that's really had a go at biosecurity in Queensland, rah biosecurity. Okay, sorry guys if you're watching, it hasn't been nothing personal. I see that they're trying to do a great job there. That they've got a job to do and they're trying to do it the best they can. COVID-19 has hit people between the eyes. It has really driven it home how fragile our existence is on this planet, whether you believe everything you've seen about it or not.
Regardless.
Regardless. We have seen trillions of dollars, thrown around in this world. We have seen a lot of people catch it, some without any symptoms and other people that die from it. Whether we like it or not, it has been a huge impact. So anything that's a virus or a disease or whatever, from now on, I think it's taught us a big lesson that they've got to be managed properly. We've got to have a plan.
So what are dead set diseases that we 100% know that wild deer, are carrying or transmitting? Right. Not what they think, but what do we know?
I haven't seen any.
Okay,
I haven't seen any. Literally, I've tested thousands and thousands of deer.
I've seen all these jaws out the front there.
And we've done so much. They are a clean, fantastic, clean animal. However, there are possibilities that this could happen, right? What we've got to look at, though, and we get back to state forest hunting. They're talking state forest hunting. The majority of our hunters in Queensland are not deer hunters. The majority of our hunters chase pigs. Right up the coast and everywhere. So if we
carry diseases.
Which do carry diseases. Now here we've got a major one, African swine flu. Right? In Timor, in the Philippines, I believe. It could be hitting into New Guinea. The last thing we want to see for the Australian pig industry is African swine flu jump down here.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can bet your boots the biosecurity is looking very closely at the issue,
Yeah.
and we've got 20 odd million wild pigs in this country. That if it gets in our wild pig population, we're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
However, if they were to get a vaccine for domestic pigs that they could give to them to stop them from catching swine flu, I believe the authorities would release it in this country to wipe out our wild pigs.
Yeah.
Okay? This is where we're playing with fire. Okay, on this here. We're playing with fire. COVID has shown that governments will spend a huge amount of money. They will arrest people in their homes. They will pull you up and stop you from driving more than 5 k's from your house.
Yep.
They'll lock Victorians in. I just can't believe what's happened to our Victorian mates down there. Feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
Huge. It could happen here in Queensland tomorrow.
Yeah.
We could have a major outbreak here and we're locked down.
Yeah.
The same thing. To think that the authorities then wouldn't say to you, you're not allowed to hunt, or you can't hunt pigs in the north, or we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to wipe them out.
Yeah.
Or say to landowners under the LPA system, you can't sell your cattle anymore till you wipe those pigs or deer off your property. If hunters think that can't happen, they better wake up to themselves, because that is the future.
And then that's the end of hunting.
We've got to have a seriously good, sustainable plan in place if we are going to survive.
Because that's when it will become a sport of people who are rich.
Yep.
Who can fly to New Zealand and spend 15k on a trophy over there or whatever, or fly up to the Northern Territory and because there's only those types of animals on particular farms,
fenced in properties,
and it's going to be top dollar only. So, and this is why, mate, it brings me to a point. I know we should probably wrap it up soon. We're going to have a lot more talks about this sort of stuff because it really interests me. I really wish that you could, you could get a round table conversation with yourself, ADA, SSA, SSAA, Shooters Union, Tony, a politician from the
One
Labor
Nation.
Party,
Cattle
One
Party.
Nation, Cattle Party,
definitely.
get them all down.
We got great support there, right?
And have a
Cattle
good chat
Party,
and work
One
it
Nation
out.
Party, Shooters and Fishers Party, right? Definitely. And literally, what you're seeing is some of these social media warriors that are out there, they are bagging people without actually sitting down talking to them.
Yeah.
To me, they're gutless.
Because it's a differing opinion.
They're literally gutless. They won't face up to something. I respect what you're doing. You've come up here, and each time you've come here, you've drilled me with questions because you want to know.
Yeah. Well, it interests me, and to look at it on a personal, totally selfish view, right? Let's be honest, totally selfish view. I've just discovered deer hunting, and I want to be able to do it in 20 years' time.
Yeah.
Now, I look at it and I go, well, we've had these chats and I've seen stuff online, and it is quite, possible that, the Queensland government can just say, boom, we're going to get rid of all of them. And then, I'd actually be shattered about that. I'd be like, well, we're doing something that's good for the community, good for me, good for the spirits, good for local farmers.
Yep.
There's so many benefits that come out of it. You just need, yourself and these other guys to sit down and be able to work this out so that it can be possibly done properly, sustainably, so everyone can enjoy it and do it safely.
Yeah. Be a great outcome if we can. I've always...
Regardless of the political party.
Yeah, regardless. The door's always been open with us. What we've tried to do is come up with that solution, come up with that system, come up with at least part of it anyway, and that's what we're trying to present now. We've got a system we call, through the Ridge Group, called Hunt Easy and Access Easy. We've got it very, very close to being able to be presented to government. Okay, I believe it can tick all the boxes.
Yep.
And when I say tick all the boxes, with biosecurity, again, a thing that we really didn't touch on was pest weeds.
Yep.
That's a huge one, again, a huge negative. We've got hunters that say, let us into state forest. And we drove through yesterday, coming back from down the coast, we drove through freehold country on an unfenced road. We drove over a grid and we're in a national park area on an unfenced road. We drove then into a state forest area without any fence or grid or anything. We drove back into freehold country, across a road onto another property. So we could have literally carried things like giant rat tail grass or parthenium weed through 5 or 6 different land tenures and properties in the one trip. Right, so you've got a hunter that goes out into the state forest area that doesn't know what a pest weed is, right? And they could literally drive through a patch of giant rat tail grass or whatever and spread it everywhere. And that's what they have been doing, not just anybody using the bush, anybody that drives through there. So we have to have, we've got to be mindful of all those sorts of things. It can be done. We're showing it can be done, right? We request washdowns for all our vehicles coming here and stay out of these,
Well, mate, when you're in the military, when you sign a vehicle out, whether you're on exercise, you're signing out for the day, you're out for a week or whatever, we have wash points everywhere. As soon as you bring it back from one part of wherever you've been travelling to the next, it has to be washed down, right?
Yep.
And that's just simply so that you're not spreading any plants or diseases anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
This takes 5 minutes.
Yeah. This is 21st century. This is what we're having to come to grips with, and a lot of people are still living in the past, thinking that we've got this right. Well, we do have rights, but if we're going to have the rights, we must take responsibility as well. Yeah. People struggle with that. So,
last thing I wanted to talk to you about quickly is the hat you got on there. That's the best hat I've seen ever.
Blaze orange is just, in some ways, it's a statement that you are willing to do the right thing. Yep. Okay? We've got an old saying, poachers don't wear blaze because they don't want to be seen. Yep. Okay? When you wear blaze, you're saying, I want you to be seen. I want you to wear it as well so I can see you, and I want you to see me. And if a landowner's over there and they look in a paddock and they see blaze, they think, okay, that person has accepted that they're going to do the right thing. They'll follow the rules. It's like nearly a badge of honour for us now, where we're saying people will wear blaze happily, put it on, bang, don't put it on and then tuck it away as soon as they're out in the bush. That's being hypocritical. If you wear it and you wear it with pride and you say, this is a statement to say that I'm willing to do the right thing, we're halfway there.
Yep. Yeah. Well, good on you, mate. Thanks for having me out again.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Good on you, mate. And look, we'll have a couple more chats, eh?
Yeah, look forward to it.
Thanks, buddy. Good on you, Clark.
Well, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. And if you turn on your notification bell, you won't miss any more of our upcoming videos.